I've been testing out a tool that basically combines NotebookLM, Notion, and an entire AI creation studio into one workspace. I've talked about how much I love this tool before, but it just got a massive update that makes it even more powerful. So let's take a look at what's new. The tool we're looking at today is called YouMind. Now, if you've never heard of it, it's sort of like NotebookLM, but it can do so much more. Instead of just organizing your research and chatting with your documents, YouMind actually lets you turn that research into real content. Articles, images, slideshows, videos, even full web pages, all from one place. I want to jump in and show you everything this does, but before we do, I need to let you know that YouMind is sponsoring today's video. So if you want to follow along with me as I walk through everything, make sure to click the link down in the description to sign up for an account. The foundation of everything in YouMind starts with what they call a board. And a board is basically your research hub. You can pull into this YouTube videos, articles, blog posts, podcasts, PDFs, and YouMind will organize all of it into this central workspace for you. If you've ever used NotebookLM before, this will feel very familiar, but the difference is what happens after you gather everything. To create your first board, click on the top right here where it says blank board. I'm going to use this one to learn about pottery. So over here where the name is, I'll click on these three dots, click on edit, and change the name to pottery. Next, we need to add some material into this board because currently there's nothing in here. To do that, I'm going to use the YouMind Chrome extension. This will allow you to quickly add any sources to your boards from any page using the extension. So for instance, I'm here on YouTube, and let's say I really like this video about pottery. I can open it up, click on the YouMind Chrome extension. Up here, I can choose the board I want to add this to, which in this case is pottery. Notice here, you get an overview of this video, a synopsis of it, and a breakdown of the entire video. So you can kind of read through this and get an idea of what the video is about. Then you can click right here where it says save, and that has now been saved to my pottery board. If I want to open that pottery board, I can click right here. It will then open up and I can see that the video has been added to this board. Here's the video right here. And it also automatically picks for you key moments from the video. You can see those highlighted here and they've labeled them here as well. In addition to that, over here on the right, we can see the entire transcript. It can put together chapters for us as well. And we get a synopsis of the video as well. Let's add some other things to this board though. Here's an article all about Pottery 101. Same thing, I'll click on the Chrome extension. We already have the pottery board selected, so I'll just click on save. And then finally, I really like this podcast I listened to recently about pottery, so I want to add this as well. All I have to do is click here. I can see an entire overview of the podcast and change the board to pottery, and we'll save that one. Now, opening the board back up, we can now see that we have 3 different sources in here. Let me show you one more example so I can highlight one of the coolest features about YouMind. Here I'm watching this video about pottery, and let's say there's a moment in it that really stands out that I want to remember. I can open up the Chrome extension, and down here at the bottom, there's this button right here. If you click on this, that will save that moment in the video. I can click on pick this, that will then save it to my board. Coming over to my board now, you can see the video that I was just looking at. It has now been saved. And more importantly, we now have something called Your Picks. This is the exact moment that I just highlighted. So if I watch through an entire video, I never have to watch it twice. I can just come back to the moments that are important to me. And like I showed you before, YouMind will automatically select key moments for you that you can see alongside your picks. Now, unlike a lot of other tools, you don't just organize information inside of YouMind. You actually create things with it. And you can do that right here in the creation space. Here, you can just describe exactly what you want created. We'll start by clicking on this plus icon and hover over Add from YouMind. And here we see the board that we have, pottery, and all the material inside of it. So if you want this material to be used when creating your product, make sure to select whatever material you want. So I'm going to select all of them. You can also add some third-party connectors like Notion or Linear, and there are some other ones. And you can even attach files as well. But for the purposes of this demo, we're just going to use the information and material that we pulled into this board. Next, you can choose the strength of the model. We have Ask and Agent. Agent's going to take longer, but it usually gets you better results. So I will select that one. And then the third button here allows you to choose what you want it to create. It can create slides, images, it can write things for you, build web pages, help you learn, and you can even set up some custom ones as well. We're going to use this to create some slides. I'll select that. And then you can choose what model you want to use. So you're not just limited to the models that were developed by one company. There are several choices here. I'm going to use Nano Banana 2, which is one of the best image generation models out there, although Nano Banana Pro is also great, but we'll go with Nano Banana 2. And then you can also choose a style. This includes things like the aspect ratio. I'll do 16:9, and the image quality. I'll set that one on medium. And now let's describe what this presentation is about. Create a presentation for people who are just starting pottery. And then we can submit that along and it will get to work. It is now finished putting together the presentation for us. Here it tells us in the chat what it did. And scrolling up, we can see all the slides. You want to click right here where it says open. That will then open up the slideshow. So you can click through it and look at all the slides. Personally, I think this one looks incredible. All the text is extremely legible and the images look great. But if there are any changes you want to make, there's a few ways you can make changes. First, there's a button here that allows you to edit the text. You can click on this. That will then extract the text and you can make any changes and then apply those. But what you can also do is just tell it over on the side what changes you want. So I can say on slide, let's say 2, change the last bullet point to builds a skill that grows with you. And now it's going out and making that change. And there we go. It has now been updated and changed. So it's as easy as that. Now, YouMind has added this really cool new feature into slides. After you generate one, if you click on the top here where it says Smart Video, this will turn your slides into a video. Let's try it out. I'll click on Create Video. And now it's transformed these slides into a video. Let's give it a watch.
Welcome. If you've ever wanted to try pottery but felt like you needed a special setup, a lot of talent, or a big budget, this is for you. Pottery is simply...
All right, pretty cool. And of course you can change anything. So we have the music here. If you want to get rid of that, you can remove it or actually have it generate different music for you. You can also change the subtitle style. So maybe I like this one better. So you can totally make it exactly the way that you want. Let's do another example. To start a new chat, you can just click right here on the chat icon and click on New here. This time I will use the same board, but I don't want to use all the material. I just want to use a few of these. So I'll select these 4. Then I want to create this time a blog post. So I will select Write, and you'll notice here all the models that this has access to. So again, you're not limited to just Gemini, for instance. We have Claude, we have Gemini, we have GPT, and we have Grok. Since I personally like Claude when it comes to writing, I will select Claude Sonnet 4.5. And now I will tell it, write a blog post for me about all the tools you need to start making pottery. And we'll submit that along. YouMind is now finished creating our blog post. We can see that right here. We can open it by clicking open up here, and this is what it looks like. I mean, it's not just creating a blog post for us, it's actually formatting it in this incredibly beautiful way. And all this can be changed. So let's say I don't like this cover image. I can click right here where it says change cover. And let's select a different one. I can either select from the gallery or generate one. I will tell it to create a beautiful image of a pottery wheel using Nano Banana 2. We'll give it a few minutes for it to do that while we read over the rest of the blog post. If there's anything in here you want to change, you can just simply change it. Or if you want the AI's help, you can just highlight the section that you don't want or that you want changed, click on chat, and tell it what changes you want to make. In this case, I'll tell it make this concise. Now you can see what changes were made. So if you don't like them, you can reject them. But if you do like them, you can approve them, and those will then be finalized. And then finally up here at the top, it created a new image for me. I absolutely love that. So this is now perfect. I can share this by clicking on the share icon. Here's some information here about how you can share it. So again, it's not stuck into YouMind. You can actually send this off and use it. This next feature is one of the big upgrades inside this new version of YouMind. So they used to have something called shortcuts, and that has been completely revamped into what they are now calling skills. You can find them over here on the left by clicking on skills. And this isn't just a name change. Skills are a huge upgrade over what shortcuts used to be. You can now customize way more complex workflows, choose different AI models for different tasks, and build much more sophisticated automations than what was possible before. Let me just show you an example. So when you open up skills, you'll see all these pre-built ones that you can use. So down here, if you want help with writing, we have skills to help you with email marketing or article fact checking, for instance. If you want skills for image generation, we have an infographic maker skill, data visualization skill. We have skills for slides, web pages, basically anything. And these are like custom packs up here as well. So since I'm a YouTuber, I'm very curious what's inside this one. Let's open up this skill pack. And within this, you can see all these different skills. So this one looks interesting. This is a skill that will take any YouTube video and turn it into an article. So I will install this one. And now let's return back to this pottery board and we'll start a new chat and click on the plus icon. I will select one of my YouTube videos that are inside of this, like this one. And then I will do the / command and choose the skill that I just installed called YouTube to article. And that's it. I don't have to describe anything else because the skill knows what to do. It is pre-built instructions telling it how to take this YouTube video and to turn it into a blog post. And here you can see it put together the blog post for us based on that YouTube video. And what's really cool is that you can also set up your own skills. So coming back to the skills page, click on the top right here where it says new skill. And here you can just describe exactly what you want this skill to be able to do. So let's say there's a certain way that you like all of your articles written. You can detail out what that looks like so that every time you run this skill, it will produce your articles in the exact same format so you never have to repeat your instructions. And what's very unique is that you can actually chain together instructions. So here I can put in one set of instructions. Let's say I have it do research for me for a YouTube video, and I can even attach a certain board. So I can actually create a board all about research, for instance, or different research topics. It can use that one for the research, and then I'll add a new set of instructions here. And this time I'll say, now organize these into an outline, and I can use a different board for that. And then I can add another set of instructions and tell it, now take that outline and actually form a YouTube script for it. So you can chain these together, which is very impressive and very unique. But the last new feature I want to show you is the one that personally I am the most excited about, and that is scheduled tasks. You can find those on the top right by clicking on scheduled tasks and click on add task. Here we'll give this one a name, so I'll call this one research. What I want this to do is every day to look through my board called research. Because as I go through the day and I see interesting tweets or articles, I'm going to be adding them to this board. And then in the middle of the night, I want YouMind to actually go through them and to rank them by potential topics for YouTube videos. That way, when I wake up in the morning, I have a report of potential topics that I can make videos about. So I set up a skill for that. I called it research, and I'll schedule this every day at, let's say, in the middle of the night sometime, so maybe like 2 a.m. Then all I have to do is click on setup. And now every day it's going to go through that board, find interesting articles and tweets, and create for me an entire report that's waiting for me when I wake up. So that's YouMind. If you've been looking for something that goes beyond just researching and note-taking and actually helps you create with what you're learning, this is it. The new skills, scheduled tasks, and everything else it does has made this update incredibly impressive. If you want to try it out for yourself, make sure to click the link down below in the description to get started. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.